Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. It is Monday. It is Gator Hater Week. We are supposed to be looking full steam ahead at the game against Florida coming up on Saturday. A huge opportunity for this football game, but I cannot help myself. Here I sit 2 days out from the game against Austin Peay, still trying to fathom that game, the way it played out. A win 30-13 for Tennessee. Some people say, Boogie, is that not good enough? What do you mean? What went wrong? They won. Isn't that all that matters? No, it's not. It's not, because that is not good enough. That is not up to the standard of Tennessee football. I don't think that is up to the standard of what Josh Heupel expects from this football game, or this football team, rather. You know, here we are 2 days out from the game against Austin Peay, and we're still making excuses. This morning's live stream with Eric Kane and BVD had a lot of great talking points. We broke down that game. We started to look ahead to Florida just a little bit, but it felt like a funeral service, and we're making all these excuses for why Tennessee played the way that they played. The lightning delay, that's what it was. You know, the team had to go back in the locker room, come back 30 minutes later. Guess what? So did Austin Peay. We talked about not having a band, not opening up the power tee. You know, we took Austin Peay lightly. Then you know, they played with nothing to lose, the way they came out aggressive. All those excuses don't matter. We still have a standard of Tennessee football that they have to live up to. Again, I don't think Josh Heupel was happy with the effort, but more importantly, how did the players respond? You know, we've kind of talked about leadership and Joe Milton, and a lot of it, the way he's loose, he likes to dance, he's laid back, and Joe has to be Joe. Joe's not Hendon Hooker. Joe's not Josh Dobbs. Joe is not Casey Clausen or Peyton Manning or T. Martin or Condredge Holloway. Joe has to be Joe. And if that's his style, that's his leadership, then that is who he is. But how do the players respond to that? And that's something I talked about going into the season. What happens when adversity hits? It's easy to dance and have a good time when you're on top, when you're winning, or in practice or in a scrimmage. But when adversity hits, how does Joe Milton lead this football team? We're going to take a look at an article. Apparently there was a players-only meeting after the Austin Peay, and this is exciting for me. This encourages me about the direction of this football program going into the game against Florida on Saturday. We're going to talk about it, but as always, do me a favor. Smash that thumbs up just below the video. It's quick, free, and easy. It does help the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media. We don't talk at you. We talk with you here. We're building a community of Tennessee fans, for the fans, by the fans. If you like that, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Going to be live tomorrow night playing NCAA football, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Friday morning show at 10 a.m. And then also an hour before kickoff, and then immediately following the game on Saturday. But let's jump into it. Let's talk about this players-only meeting. This is an article from A to Z Sports written by Zach Reagan. Tennessee reportedly held a players-only meeting after tougher-than-expected win against Austin Peay. Look, it could be worse. And I know I went on a bit of a rant there to open this video, but I see so many people just willing to say, that's okay, it's acceptable. It's not acceptable. You have to be better against a team like Austin Peay, but how does this football team respond? That's the narrative. That's the storyline for me moving forward into the game on Saturday. Tennessee's still a touchdown favorite against the Gators. Vegas doesn't get emotional. You and I, sometimes we get emotional, but here we are 2 days later. It's time to put that emotion in the past, and let's take a look at this article from Zach Reagan. Tennessee Vols reportedly held a players-only meeting on Sunday after Tennessee's 30-13 win against Austin Peay. Tennessee's offense didn't look crisp in the 17-point win. From penalties to off-target throws, multiple drops, there wasn't much that went right for the Vols in what was supposed to be an easy win as Tennessee prepares for a big showdown with the Florida Gators this upcoming weekend. Look, we broke it down in the post-game show, broke it down this morning. I talked about it in the day after video. Joe Milton was not very good on Saturday, and you can look at his numbers. You can talk about his completion percentage. Stats don't always tell the story. Joe was 1 of 8. Then he rattled off 11 straight completions, and I understand that, but you have to look at what it actually was. It was just easy sideline throws, and maybe the game plan wasn't right. Maybe the game plan was backwards. Maybe they should have come out early and given Joe some of those throws to build his confidence. Some of you guys in the chat have talked a lot about the last couple of days that once the drops started happening, Joe kind of lost his confidence or lost that swagger is the way that you looked at it. And maybe you guys are onto something there. Maybe they should have started with the easier throws first. But if you want to throw out stats and completion percentage, it was about the same as the Virginia game. Joe was way more effective in that Virginia game than he was on Saturday night against Austin Peay. Let's roll on down, take a little bit, look a little further into this. As a result of the lackluster game against Austin Peay, lackluster game. I agree with that. Do you disagree with me? I mean, if you're listening to this video and you think that that's acceptable, you're probably steaming right now. You probably don't like me. You've probably already hit the thumbs down, if not left the video. But as a 30-13 win over Austin Peay, do you think that is acceptable for this Tennessee football team in year 3 of the Josh Heupel era? Again, as a result of the lackluster game against Austin Peay, Tennessee's team leaders called a players-only meeting, according to the Off the Hook Sports' Dave Hooker. Here's the quote. I was told this morning by a source very close to the program that Tennessee held a players-only meeting on Sunday that was organized by the leaders of Tennessee's football team. Goes on to say the tenor of the meeting was this, in which Joe Milton, regardless of whose fault it actually was, took complete blame and said, "It's on me," in a very positive leadership role. That is what I love to hear. That is how you lead. You know, again, questioned it. When you're dancing, you're loose, you're having a good time. What happens when the crap hits the fan? What happens when adversity hits? Look, Joe was not the only guy to blame. Wide receivers got to catch the football. Period. You know, he had some bad throws. Some of them hit these guys in the hands. You got to catch the football. Dante Thornton hit him right in the numbers a couple of times, and the ball hit the ground. It's not all on Joe, but that's what a leader does. A leader picks you up, puts you on his back, and says, "It's on me." So I like the maturity and the response from Joe Milton right there. It says Tennessee's players all agreed amongst themselves that they need to amp it up starting today, Sunday, that the practices last week weren't bad. I don't want to imply that by the tenure of the meeting, but they weren't quite as intense as they should have been. Perhaps that was the opponent. Perhaps it was just a bad week. And again, we make excuses, right? Tennessee overlooked Austin Peay. They weren't ready. They took the game lightly. You survived. You won 30-13, so it's time to move on. That's why it's way more important how they respond on Saturday against Florida. This game, if Tennessee goes on to beat Florida, they go on to beat UTSA and South Carolina, and they roll out of September 5-0, guess what? None of us are going to be talking about this Austin Peay game. None of us. But if they go down to the swamp on Saturday and they struggle, it's going to be a big red flag for what is going on with this football team. We go on down the article from Zach Reagan. I think this was to be viewed as a major positive for the Vols. Would have been easy for Tennessee's players to chalk up the rough night to a great effort from Austin Peay and an off day from the offense. After all, Tennessee still won by 17 points. But this is a team that feels a sense of urgency. This is the last chance to win the SEC for several players on Tennessee's roster, including quarterback Joe Milton. It's clear that they don't want whatever happened against Austin Peay to carry over into the game against Florida. The Vols have excellent leadership. Otherwise, there would have been no players meeting on Sunday. They know they can't beat Florida if they play like they did against Austin Peay, and the players are putting on themselves to make sure they don't have execution problems against the Gators like they did against Austin Peay. So that is the article. Tennessee calls a players-only meeting. I love the response. I love Joe Milton putting it on himself because that's what leaders do. They take the blame, they pick you up, they build you up, and then they move forward. So I hope that players-only meeting, and a lot of people get mad about what we say on YouTube, on social media. It is what it is. This team has to focus. If this football team is watching Talkin VAWLS videos or BVD videos or VolQuest videos, or they're watching Twitter and reading Twitter and vanity searching, they got way bigger problems. Block out the outside noise. And yes, that's coming from a guy that gets paid to yell into a microphone and hype up Tennessee football. They got to block out the outside noise. The only people that matter are those coaches and those players in that locker room. That's it. End of story, period. I can get on here every single day and call it a glorified scrimmage because guess what? That's what it was. And Tennessee forgot to show up to the scrimmage. Saturday in a scrimmage. Saturday's for real. It's big boy football in the swamp, 7 p.m. kick. Going to be a huge game and a huge opportunity for this football team. How do they respond? How does Joe Milton respond? We'll find out on Saturday night. You guys jump into the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Does this encourage you a little bit after coming out of the weekend? Again, we're making excuses and trying to figure out what happened. Let's talk about it in the comment section. If you have not already, please smash the thumbs up on the way out the door and go check out the merchandise for the Talkin VAWLS Network. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Appreciate any and all support. As always, thank you to the members of the channel. You guys are who give me the opportunity to yell into this microphone for a living. Without your support, I couldn't do it. It's as little as $1 a month. Hit the join button down below. You get a power T beside your name. You get access to custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. I try to highlight your comments on the live streams. Also, you get access to the fan call-in shows on Saturdays, an hour before kickoff, and also every single Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. If you can't afford to give, that's fine. Smash the thumbs up, because that's quick, free, and easy. Jump into the comment section. Let's talk some Tennessee football, because this is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.